Chama. What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. And UFC 307 just took place, and Pereira just had a tough fight with Khalil Rountree, but ended up winning by 4th round TKO. You know what happened. You watched the card. You're not a casual, but I'm still going to be recapping the card anyway, giving my thoughts, my breakdown of every single matchup on the card. A lot of weird scorecards from the judges today, a lot of weird refereeing decisions, but ultimately it was a pretty decent card, topped off by an amazing main event. A great battle, back and forth fight, a war, heart shown by both guys, toughness shown by Khalil, even though he did get finished in the end. And yeah, Pereira secures a 3rd title defense. But in terms of that fight first, we'll start with the main event. Pereira vs. Khalil Rountree. I think the narrative going into this was like, Pereira is going to run through Khalil. It's easy. It's a layup title defense. He's going to look good. He's going to smoke him. No problem. Why is Khalil fighting for the belt? Turns out Khalil's fucking really good, and he's actually legit as fuck, and he's solid, which is weird because he looked mid against, like, Smith for, like, half of that fight. Like, he's lost before, but he goes out there. So I think it's just something about putting those guys, like Steve Erceg as well, putting those guys in that title setting when they don't really deserve the title shot, but you put them in there, you give them their one chance, and they fucking go for it, they give it their all, and they just have a crack. And that's what Khalil did here. He looks quick. I'll say that. He did look quick, and he did give Pereira some trouble, and was actually up 2-0, I think. I don't know the official scorecards, but I'd assume he was up 2-0 going into the 3rd. Obviously didn't matter. Pereira's not seeing any scorecards anytime soon. But no, it did. He was up 2-0. He did win the 1st, did win the 2nd in my books. 2nd round, he actually dropped him off balance with a shot. I think it was a right hand as Pereira kind of went for a high kick, and he dropped him earlier in the round, or later, sorry, in that round. He also landed a nice head kick too. Khalil looked good. He was quick to the punch. His offense was good. He was doing the Dricker, sort of blitzing, throwing in combination, and then Pereira would just kind of back up and be forced to respect it. But at the end of the 1st, Khalil looked pretty gassed. He was huffing and puffing, had his hands on top of the cage. He looked pretty tired. 2nd round, he actually was looking pretty good. Pereira was kind of doing his thing. Khalil has some moments. He's doing well. He's still able to sort of implement that offensive push game plan. Khalil's defense, not the best, but his offense is really good. He was blocking some shots of Pereira. Pereira opened up the fight with a fucking push kick, like front kick to the face, which ended up getting caught, and he almost got taken down off of it, which was really interesting way to start the fight. I do think he had a bit of a lack of respect for Khalil coming out there, which very quickly turned into like, oh shit, I actually really got to lock in. This guy's pretty fucking good, giving me some trouble. But yeah, he was quicker than Pereira, I think. Pereira's striking is obviously much better. He's a more technical striker. I'd say he's more powerful pretty clearly. Got better combinations, but Khalil is an offensive guy and is quick, and so he can cause you trouble when he just explodes. That's where he catches a lot of guys from. That's how he caught Smith. That's how he caught Dorcas, just putting a combination together, just exploding, going ba-ba, and just catching you. But Pereira stayed out of harm's way for the most part. When he got dropped, it wasn't bad. It wasn't like he got blasted back off 2 feet onto the ground where it looked like, oh my god, he could get finished. He kind of just got dropped a bit off balance, so it probably was a knockdown for sure, but I also don't think Pereira's legs were under him to the point where he didn't look wobbled when he stood back up either. But 3rd round, Pereira goes out there, he's on him. He starts beating him up in the 3rd, clearly wins that round. Towards the end of the 3rd, really puts it on him, starts going for it a bit, getting his punches going. He was hurting Khalil bad with the jab a lot of the time. Low kicks, Joe Rogan. Don't forget, Pereira's calf kick is nasty. He's made of mahogany. You do not want to be in that. You do not want to take too many more of those calf kicks. DC, that calf's done. He can't stand on that. He might be trying to hide it, but that calf's done. So Rogan was fucking jizzing himself watching the calf kicks of this performance from Pereira. But yeah, the calf kicks were nasty, and the jabs were nasty too. He wasn't landing the left hook that much. He really wasn't. He wasn't doing the signature Pereira. Like, he did go for the head kick a few times. Maybe he wanted that Salt Lake City special with the head kick. But it was actually Khalil who was closer to getting the head kick KO, to be honest, with that one at the end of the 2nd. But yeah, 3rd round, clear Pereira, 2-1 going into the 4th. 4th round, Pereira's beating him up. Khalil was hurt at the end of the 3rd. Well, like, I sensed the finish. I was like, yeah, he's really starting to get to him. He's kind of landing at will. Khalil was taking the shots pretty well a bit of the time, and then in that 4th round, he was not taking some of those shots well. He was like blinking his eyes out. He was really stunned. Some of those shots hurt him bad. There were moments I'm like, yeah, it's about to be done. And then Pereira would kind of lay off the pedal, like take the foot off the gas a little bit and just let Khalil kind of keep himself in it for a few more seconds. But eventually, nasty combination from Pereira. gets him up against the fence, lands just a fucking nasty body shot combination. Jewel rips to the body, and that was what put Khalil down, because he was taking the shots. His chin was fucking solid in this fight. He took the shots of Pereira. Obviously, he got hurt. He took a lot of them, I'll say that. But, like, just how good is Khalil's chin? For Pereira, it's one punch KO Hill and one punch KO Vieira. But then Khalil's taken an absolute beating. Even Izzy took a few shots off him. Maybe it's the black chin, but I guess Jamal Hill's not black, I guess. But no, fourth round, nasty body shot combination, puts it down, ends the fight. Pereira, I'm glad he didn't end up calling out fucking Drickus or calling from middleweight or some shit. He said, I'm happy to stay a light heavyweight, I'm feeling good here. Ankalaev, Rakic winner is the fight to make. I guess if it's Rakic, it's a bit weird, but even I wouldn't mind Rakic getting the title shot if he beats Ankalaev, because that would be a really impressive upset if he gets that done. So I say Pereira versus Ankalaev or Rakic winner. If Rakic wins, you could maybe do the winner of Ozdemir versus Olberg, because that fight's taking place in November. That's something I wouldn't mind. The winner of Ozdemir Olberg would be kind of undeserved, but I think it would be slightly more deserving in terms of those guys are on a bit of a win streak compared to Rakic, who would only be on one win. But great win. Khalil, I say you can give him maybe Khalil versus like a Blachowicz, a Jamal Hill, rebook that one. You know, if they send him down the rankings and they be mean, I could see like a Gushkov, but Khalil's striking's real good now, so I changed my opinion on how he would do against a lot of these light heavyweights. You could do a Johnny Walker rematch maybe, you could do as I said, Blachowicz, you could do the loser of Rakic Ankalaev, I wouldn't mind that. Khalil versus Rakic, sign me up. Khalil versus the winner of like Ozdemir Olberg, sign me up for that. So Khalil's got options. Take some time off though, because when my initial reaction was he's had a great performance. This is really good experience for him to actually get this like back and forth fight with Pereira, and then he started taking all the damage. I was like, now he might just turn into a fucking Reyes and just fall off a cliff next time he fights and have no chin. Hope that's not the case, because Khalil's a fun-ass fighter. Great post-fight interview as well. So yeah, really fun fight overall. Definitely saved the main card, which was trending. It wasn't like terrible, but it was just kind of mid. But yeah, we'll talk about the co-main event now. This was the last of many bad decisions tonight. This was the last of many questionable scorecards. I thought Raquel Pennington won this fight. I thought she won the first, fourth, and fifth. Definitely won the fourth and fifth. The first was close enough, but I thought it was fucking pretty clear that Pennington won. Pena didn't do much in the first. She only really implemented the grappling successfully in the second and third. Pennington also dropped during the fourth. This fight was surprisingly fun, and I was like, oh, well, if the main event ends in an early finish, if we didn't get the fight of the night out of the main event, they might have just ended up fucking having to give this one the main event. But no main event. They give the fight of the night, sorry. They might have had to give this one fight of the night, but obviously not. Because the fight was pretty shit for like the first couple rounds. But then the third, fourth, and fifth kind of picked up a bit. Pena actually did shit on the ground. She actually decided to be offensive on the ground and not just lay and pray. And then in the fourth, Pennington beat her up bad, dropped her multiple times, or dropped her once and then hurt her with a head kick too. We were pretty close to getting a few head kicks on this card, but not to be. But yeah, fifth round, clear Pennington. She was doing more. I thought she won the fight on damage. It is what it is. Pena is now the champion again. Somehow she now gets to call herself a two-time women's bantamweight champion. That is disappointing to me. Also, what else? Fucking she fucking calls out Nunes. Kayla, they've literally got a screen up of Kayla Harrison, and she calls out Nunes and says it's the biggest fight in MMA history, the trilogy. I'm sorry, little bro, you would get fucking smoked again. You got 50-43'd. Fight Kayla. Stop trying to fight the fucking retired lesbian. Leave her alone. Leave her be. Fight Kayla. Anyway, Pena, good win, I guess. I thought she lost. I got the pick wrong. I thought I got the pick right. There were two fights on this card where I thought I should have got the pick right, but I didn't, so it is what it is. Anyway, let's talk about the next fight on the card. Jose Aldo versus Mario Bautista. This is another one, and I feel more strongly about this one than Pennington Pena, mostly because it's women's MMA and I don't care, but this one, Aldo got fucking robbed. I'm not even saying, this is not even bias. Everyone fucking agrees Bautista fucking won this fight was bullshit. He won the second, sure, but Aldo, in my opinion, clearly won the first, and he clearly won the third. That was my memory of the fight. Unless I'm tripping, no, Aldo won the first. Bautista did a little bit more, or no. Sorry, no, Bautista won the first, which I thought even could have gone to Aldo, arguably, because he just did a bit more. But no, Aldo clearly won the second and clearly won the third in my eyes. Second round, he was shooting him up. He was really putting it on Bautista. I don't know why it's got the round mixed up there. But third round, he was doing well on the feet. He was landing good shots. He came out a bit slow, wasn't doing much. But Bautista landed fuck all in the third and then was just spamming takedowns. I mean, just pure spamming, shooting. Wouldn't fucking stop diving for the legs. He was fucking holding on to the legs for dear life. Literally went like 0 and 12 on takedown attempts, putting up Marab numbers basically. But this was the reason why this is a robbery and the Marab fight wasn't. Even though I thought the Marab fight is still slightly arguable for Aldo, but at least I'll say this with Marab is at least in that fight he fucking crotch sniffed for long enough where Aldo wasn't even able to get off anything, compared to this where Bautista crotch sniffed for a lot of it, but Aldo still whooped his ass on the feet. Well, not whooped his ass in the third, but like he was landing good shots on the feet. I thought he was winning, and then Bautista just spams takedowns. And then referee, at one point, they were there for like 35 seconds, 40 seconds. Ref separates them. As soon as the ref says go, Bautista immediately shoots another takedown. Like, you are such a bitch. You are such a coward. Imagine shooting for the legs that desperately that immediately after getting separated for inactivity against the cage, you shoot another takedown. I don't care if he scraped a win on the fucking rule set. Aldo should have won on damage. And also, there should be zero controversy about this in terms of the fact that if you look at that fight and see one of the guys is shooting for the legs for dear life, we should not reward that in any way. Like, you should be penalized for failing takedowns, and the guy who stuffs them should be rewarded. Aldo showed he was in control of the third round because Bautista's entire game plan was to spam for legs and try and sniff his crotch, and he wasn't able to do that. Like, or he was trying to get him down. Because if his game plan was to hold him against the cage, that doesn't score. Cage control has no impact on the fucking scoring if there's damage, which Aldo did. Aldo landed good shots. So I thought it was pretty clear 2-1 to Aldo. Even 3-0 wouldn't have been terrible. I'm just going to say this, I thought 3-0 Aldo is just as arguable as 2-1 Bautista. I think 2-1 Aldo is the correct scorecard, but I think if you want to argue that it's 2-1 Bautista, I think 3-0 Aldo is just as arguable. So I thought that was a pretty bad robbery. I got the pick wrong, but in my mind I got it right. I'll technically count it as wrong for my pick record, obviously, because it's hard to keep track of otherwise, but still, I think Bautista fucking won this fight was bullshit. He also got a robbery decision in the Blackshear fight, so apart from the Ricky Simone win, which hasn't aged well, his fucking 2 out of his last 3 fights have just been robbery decisions, blatantly. So yeah, I thought this was bullshit. I thought Aldo won. Comment if you also think Aldo won, and even I heard reactions, pretty much everyone was like, yeah, this guy's just shooting for the legs for dear life. Sure, Aldo didn't get out off the things. You can say, oh, he didn't. Everyone agrees that he fucking won. Everyone agrees Jose Aldo should have won this fight, pretty much, unless you're Mario Bautista's family members. And then afterwards, he's running around when he gets the decision, screaming, saying, let's go, like you fucking held onto his legs for dear life. I now dislike you more than like 95% of the roster. Congratulations. You are now making yourself impossible to become a fan favorite ever, and you're ruining your prospects of getting a top 5 opponent or any good spotlight in the UFC. Congratulations, you're going to be fighting on the prelims in your next fight, you bum. Let's move on to the next fight. Not much to talk about with this one. It was a round 2 or end of round 1, start of round 2 TKO for Roman Dolidze. Him and Kevin Holland, whole lot of nothing for the first bit of the fight standing up. I picked Holland. I got this one wrong, fair and square, I'll admit that. But yeah, Dolidze gets him down. Holland just can't stuff takedowns from anyone physical. Dolidze gets on top, doing a whole lot of nothing. Eventually, they kind of move a position, and Holland looks like he tries to escape something, and then looks like he winces. I'm like, okay, he's hurt himself. I thought it was like a shoulder or something. I thought he might have like dislocated his shoulder. It was his rib. He fucking popped his rib out or something. Dolidze gets mount, landing good shots. Probably could have been a stoppage, but ends up making it to the corner. Holland can't continue. His rib's completely fucked. If he'd got taken down again, there was no chance he was getting back up. And that would have caused a lot more damage if he started like taking punishment to the body. So yeah, good job, Dolidze, I guess. You beat Kevin Holland. Fucking boring cunt. I don't know. I don't like Roman Dolidze. I think he's shit. I think he's an awful fighter. But at least he has a wrestling, like at least he shot a takedown. Because previously he has had no takedowns and has just relied on his opponent being retarded and taking him down. So I thought this fight was going to end up being a striking battle and Holland would win because I didn't think Dolidze could wrestle to save his life. But anyway, he gets the win. Good job. Boring. Shit start to the card with this and the next fight I'll talk about. But yeah, that fight is Kayla Harrison versus Ketlin Vieira. Look, I picked Kayla Harrison. I thought she was going to get a stoppage. I think a lot of people did. But Vieira's tough enough to last to a decision. Now, I'll say this. At the start of the card, I said put $5 or $10 on all 4 of the women's fights to go decision, just because that's women's MMA and it's always a safe bet. So yes, every single women's fight went to the cards and none of them really looked like getting stopped much at all. This one was the only one that looked remotely close to being stopped, to be honest. Kayla Harrison first round she was doing a whole bunch of nothing. Second round, doing a whole bunch of... I think she won the first, and I think she won all 3 on 2 judges, and then one judge, I think, gave Vieira the second. This was alright, it was a mid-performance, but it's good experience for her. Good to not immediately get a finish and not fight Grandma Holly Holm and actually fight someone who is decent at fighting. So yeah, good job, Kayla Harrison, I guess. 30-27 decision, fair enough. Let's move on, though, to the prelims. This was sort of like the stunner of the card, to be honest. Joaquin Buckley KOing Wonderboy Thompson in the 3rd round with a massive fucking big meaty hook. I wish Lucas Tracy was live for this, because that's the epitome of big meaty hooks, is what Joaquin Buckley was throwing. Genuinely don't think this guy knows how to throw straight punches, but he's KO'd Wonderboy, which is a fucking good win. And Buckley, he's not going to be anywhere near fighter of the year, obviously. Like, he's not in the top 5, but in terms of non-championship fighters, he's up there. You know, finished Luque, dominant win over Ruziboev, and then a KO win over Wonderboy. Fucking crazy. Do I think he's a better striker than Wonderboy? Clearly not. He was just swinging big meaty hooks and big overhands this whole fight. But eventually gets it. Now, the judges' scorecards were all over the place. One had it 1-1, which is what I had it. I thought Wonderboy won the first and Buckley won the second. One judge had Wonderboy up 2-0, which is not indefensible. Like, that's solid. And then one judge had Buckley up 2-0, which I think is a fucking odd scorecard, but whatever, ends up not mattering, I should say, because Buckley in the 3rd, just a big lunging combination, dives in with like 4 fucking hooks, and then the last one, it's like a more big meaty hooks version of Ilya Toporia's KO over Volk. Like, Ilya had like tight boxing, crisp hooks in the pocket. Buckley's just swinging big hooks from way out, and then the fucking final one lands. Drickus maxing, DDP maxing with the blitz. Great win, though, from Buckley. Good call-out as well. Calls out Kamaru Usman. Not a retarded call-out. Not like last time when he called out fucking Conor McGregor. This was a good call-out. I was worried he was going to call for a title shot, and that would have been a bit of a stretch. But Wonderboy, beating Wonderboy by KO, if he'd done it by boring decision, I would have said, maybe don't call out Usman. But after a KO win, I think that's a valid call-out. I think Buckley versus Usman's solid. I wouldn't mind Buckley versus Colby. I might do a matchmaking the welterweight division matchmaking the welterweight division video, because there's a lot of fights to be made. So yeah, I think that could end up being good. But regardless, good win from Joaquin Buckley. Gets 50k for his troubles as well. Gets a performance bonus. Very nice. I just saw the bonuses then because it was after the I cut the recording and after the Pereira segment, but I found out apparently Pereira didn't get a performance bonus. He gets fight of the night, obviously, him and Khalil, and then Buckley and OSP get performance bonuses. So no bonus for Pereira in terms of performance. I thought he would maybe give him the double, but anyway, it is what it is. Good win from Buckley. Looks really nice. Wonderboy, it's pretty over. It's kind of washed for Wonderboy. He gets KO'd like that at 41 on a 2-fight loss streak now, I think it is. Not the best look. I'm surprised I thought he might have retired in the cage. Maybe he fights one more. I don't know who Wonderboy can fight. Who do you reckon we give Wonderboy? Some older person. They're going to give him fucking Carlos Prates after he beats Randy Brown, and he's going to get KO'd. But regardless, good win from Buckley. Cements himself as a top 10 welterweight now. Congratulations. Let's move on, though, to the next fight. Next up, we had another potential questionable decision, but this one, no, guys, trust, this was a good scorecard. It was clear win for Lucindo, obviously. Nothing to do with the fact that I picked her. But no, Rodriguez-Lucindo was close. It was a very close fight. I gave Rodriguez the first, I gave Lucindo the second, and I gave Lucindo the third from memory. That's what I remember. Maybe I'm tripping. I thought it was 2-1 either way. It came down to the third, in my opinion. Rodriguez looked good on the feet early. She was kind of cracking her. Lucindo gets the body lock. The small teenage Indian boy, a bit stronger than the Brazilian woman, unfortunately for her. Rodriguez looks a little bit more feminine than Lucindo. She was always at a disadvantage. But Lucindo, she's only 22. Fair play. She's number 6 now. So big jump up. I don't think she's that good, to be honest, but she scrapes a win. Congrats, I guess. third round. Look, she did cut her open, so I know Guru loves to use the on-damage argument. He's the king of the on-damage argument. But if you want to say on-damage, she did get cut open with a shot, so fair enough. Not a whole lot going on. She had a heel hook attempt, I guess, but it was close. But Rodriguez didn't do that much either. It's not like Rodriguez was fucking teeing off on her. Like, she was minorly outstriking her on the feet, but she also got cut open in that round. So I gave it to Lucindo. Close. It could have gone either way. I wouldn't have complained about the decision. Let's move on, though, to the next fight. Austin Hubbard versus Alexander Hernandez. This was another pretty close fight. I did give one to Hernandez, though. I thought he won the first two. Hubbard won the third. It was close again. It was justifiable either way. There was a 30-27, I think, Hubbard, which was retarded. That was the weirdest fucking scorecard, I think, of the night. To be honest, like, at least Pennington was like 48-47 either way. Lucindo was 29-28 either way. 30-27 Hubbard was whack. And then the other two were 29-28 Hernandez. I thought he won the first two. I thought he did a bit more damage. He looked alright. I forgot a lot of this card, by the way, and I'm not going back and rewatch fucking Hubbard versus Hernandez because it was just not that amazing. But no, they did actually scrap a bit. Hubbard kind of started cracking him in the third. Looked solid. Good performance. This was a decent fight. Hernandez looks a little bit better at lightweight, but he's still just really shit. How the fuck did this guy beat Benil Dariush? But anyway, good win from Hernandez, gets it done. I wouldn't have complained if it went to Hubbard, but I thought this one, like, if you're ranking the bad decisions, I would say the bad decisions on the card, or like the questionable decisions, was the co-main event, the Aldo fight, the Lucindo fight, this fight, and then the Esparza Pennington fight. I think if you're ranking those from worst scorecards to best, or from like worst, least justifiable to most justifiable, I think Aldo fight was the worst. I think Lucindo was probably second worst. Actually, no, I think Pennington was second worst. Lucindo was third. I think the Esparza Pennington was fourth, and this was fifth. I think it was close. I think this was valid either way, but not a robbery. Anyway, let's move on to the next fight. Cesar Almeida versus Ihor Pereira might have been the worst display of refereeing that I've ever seen. I swear to God, Cesar Almeida eye-poked him no less than 5 times, plus a nut shot. And then when Ihor was... I'll just say this. If only we had this fucking referee for the Aldo fight, I would have supported this refereeing for the Aldo fight, but this one was whack because, first of all, Pereira would get blatantly eye-poked and he would tell him to keep going. That happened a few times. Nut shot, he let him stop, but he didn't take any points at all. Almeida should have got him point taken, or even 2. And then in the third round, Pereira goes for a takedown, literally holds him there for like 5 seconds, and then the ref, like, he briefly says, let's work, and then, like, 2 seconds after saying let's work, just separates them. I would have supported this in the Aldo fight. This was justifiable refereeing if it was the type of shit that fucking Bautista was doing, I'll say that. But I felt bad for Pereira, bro. Like, he got robbed of the opportunity to actually try and do anything because it was pretty clear his only path to victory here was going to be wrestling. He was not going to strike with Almeida. And he did get him down a few times towards the end. I was really surprised the ref didn't stand him up from there as well. But yeah, third round, he gets to the clinch, working for a little bit, bang, separates them. Could we have had this for the Aldo fight? Bautista literally stalled out 4 minutes of the fucking round, or 3 minutes of the round, from just holding onto his leg. So yeah, I thought this was a fucking terrible refereeing job. Almeida was going to win pretty clearly, but not the best look. I expected him to get a finish pretty easily, and he was unable to, so that was tough for him. But anyway, let's move on to the next fight. Next up, we had the Melanin battle between Ryan Spann and OSP or Vince St. Preux. I picked Ryan Spann by round 1 TKO. He got it done by round 1 submission. He got it done pretty comfortably. OSP's washed. OSP's old. I don't know how the fuck Kennedy and Zedriku lost to him. I am picking Justin Tafa to KO Kennedy and Zedriku because how do you lose to OSP? He's 41. And I was going to say, I was like, bro, if Ryan Spann is just retarded and somehow loses this, OSP like could somehow end up being ranked. Because like if Ryan Spann was like just outside the rankings and he only got dropped from the rankings because of like his last loss to Gushkov. But before that he was ranked. So I was like, no way, OSP wins and we got OSP in the rankings. Someone in my chat, my trusted moderator, Strickland vs. Women's MMA, actually said like, I'm calling it now, Spann's going to pull a ghillie, miss it, and then get Von Flue choked. And he was close. He got the first part, he got the pull the ghillie, but unfortunately for him, Spann did in fact get the ghillie. He went high elbow, way better than arm in, and it's way less difficult to slip out as well if you control it. He kind of guided him to the ground with the guillotine and then got the tap pretty comfortably in just over a minute or just over like 90 seconds from Ryan Superman Spann. He's when he fights not retarded, he has the potential to win, but he just fights retarded all of the time because IQ map of the world. Just take a look. But anyway, anyway. Let's move on though to the next fight. Swiftly moving on. Next up, we had Carla Esparza versus Tisha Pennington. This was another one of the close decisions. This was the first sort of questionable decision on the card. I picked what's her name? I picked Pennington. I thought it was justifiable. That she won the second and third. I thought Carla won the first, obviously, on the control time that she got at the end. She was able to get the takedown. Pennington, in my opinion, clearly won the second. She was kind of landing more. Esparza wasn't able to kind of do much on the feet. Third round, I think Pennington was winning the third pretty clearly, and then right at the end, Esparza had a moment, ended up on top, landed some shots. I thought it was justifiable to go to Pennington. I thought 30-27 Pennington was a bit crazy, but still, I thought it was not a robbery decision, but close. And I was surprised they didn't give it to Esparza for her retirement, but then they run a fucking 5-minute promo. So congratulations to her, I guess. Good career. Who cares? She's retired now anyway. Anyway, let's move on to the next fight. First fight on the card was Tim Means versus Court McGee certified UNC matchup. I was unbelievably confident that this was going to go to a decision, and I was wrong, because fucking Court McGee won by round 1 submission. This was his first finish. Since I was talking my whole prediction video, every single part that I was talking about this fight was just me mentioning how, I spent a good minute scrolling through the record of Court McGee, seeing when the last time he finished a fight was. No joke, it was literally, in 2010. Or maybe that was just by KO, but I don't think he's finished a fight since 2010. This guy has just been going to decision every time. So yeah, I was surprised he got the finish. Tim Means, unbelievably soy tap. McGee looked alright. He actually looked strongish. He looked solid. Means just looked like a fucking anorexic bum, to be honest, and tapped immediately. Soy little bitch. But I got that wrong, so I'm coping a bit. But yeah, card was solid. Definitely got saved by the main event, as Pereira has done with many of his cards. He did it with 303 as well. Saved a pretty dead main card. I wish the card order kind of fucked it too, though, because it would have been so much better if Buckley Wonderboy was the main card opener, or if they had started the momentum as Holland Dolidze main card opener, Buckley Wonderboy feature fight. Just do or Buckley Wonderboy. Yeah, Buckley Wonderboy feature fight would have been cool, or Aldo. That wouldn't have mattered. But just have Kayla as the prelim headliner. Who cares? And just have a good run of 5 fights, or a good run of 4 fights, because the Dolidze fight was kind of shit. But then the co-main event was actually fun. The Aldo fight was pretty fun until, apart from Bautista just clinging onto him. But yeah, it got fun at moments, and the main event was sick. Not fight of the year by any means, but definitely up there. Definitely a nomination for sure. So yeah, Pereira, 2 KO of the year candidates, and now it's not going to win fight of the year, but a top 10-ish sort of entry for fight of the year. So really good job to Portan. Gets the W. Jamal Hill coping, acting yawning and shit when Pereira gets the finish. Lil bro, you got slapped. But anyway, that's the card done. Let me know what videos you guys want to see in the next couple of days relating to this card. I'll do the next fights to make. I'll do the grading performances. But apart from that, that'll do it for today. Peace out, guys. See you in the next one.